Oh, hi, I didn't notice you there. I was just looking at this beautiful farewell gift I received when I left my first job here in Japan. I think that's 3 years ago. The staff of that facility was kind enough to make this one for me as a remembrance of my 1-year tenure with them. Time really flies so fast. It was my first job here in the land of the rising sun, and it was really fun. I met different people of all ages, and you know what? I think this would be a really interesting topic because the facility I was working at that time was not an elderly home. The residents were not old people. Dude, there were children in that facility. I never really had the opportunity to talk about this since most of my videos tend to gravitate towards the nursing insurance service of Japan, which focuses on the elderly. So, in today's video, let's focus on the Disability Welfare Service of Japan, which focuses on people, regardless of age, with physical disabilities, mental or intellectual disorders, and illnesses. At the end of this video, I really do hope you will have a good understanding of the other job a care worker can do here in the land of the rising sun. Just because you're a care worker here in Japan doesn't mean you only have to take care of old people. You can also take care of a grown-ass man with schizophrenia and with suicidal tendencies. I'm not sure if that word is allowed in this platform. The Disability Welfare Service, or in Japanese, Shogai Fukushi Sabisu, refers to support and care services provided to persons with disabilities. The disabilities we're talking about here includes physical disabilities or Shintai Shogai, intellectual disorders or Chiteki Shogai, and mental illnesses or Seishin Shogai. Notice that these Japanese words share the same two characters, sho and gai. That's because in the Japanese language, shogai may mean an impediment, a disability, a defect, an impairment, an obstacle.
What's wrong with you?
What?
Those words were a little bit offensive, don't you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive. From here on out, we, or I, need to be a little bit careful when talking about shogai here, especially with this part of the word. This one here is a relatively simple character with a single onyomi reading. Gai, that's it. However, the word shogai was historically written with these kanji characters. These are fairly old characters, but both of them mean an obstacle, to obstruct, or to hinder.
Honey, why you calling me?
Not that hinder. To hinder, to make it difficult for someone to do something. Anyways, in the past, people with disabilities are often called shogaisha using these characters. As a result, when someone reads these, there's this not so nice meaning being denoted to PWDs that they are somewhat a hindrance, an obstacle to people without disabilities, marginalizing those PWDs in their own society. People without disabilities tend to or are obliged to give way for people with disability. And some of those people without disabilities, they didn't seem to like that. For them, they're too busy with their lives to give way for people with disabilities when using an elevator or a toilet for that matter. PWDs, on the other hand, insisted that despite their disabilities, they are still members of the society. Their disabilities doesn't make them less of a human being than us. Which is right. That's 100% right. So, to make the story short, the Japanese government heard the PWD communities and, as a sign of respect for them, made many things for the PWDs, and that includes the stoppage of using these characters when referring to shogaisha. They still call PWDs shogaisha, however, they are now using this character or the plain hiragana gai when writing the word. So yeah, that's how big a single kanji character is here in this country. So much for that. Let's go back to the Disability Welfare Service. As I mentioned earlier, the people qualified for this service are those affected with one or more types of disabilities. May it be the physical disability or the disability may be localized inside here.
Somewhere here.
Age is not an issue as long as you're classified as a shogaisha, or in a case of a child less than 18 years of age, shogaiji. Benefits. There are two types of benefits or kyufu provided by the Shogai Fukushi Sabisu, and these are the Kunrento Kyufu and the Kaigo Kyufu. Kunrento Kyufu provides support services such as rehabilitation and employment, things that are necessary for a person to carry out his or her daily and social lives. Kaigo Kyufu, on the other hand, provides care support service. We're talking about long-term Sandai Kaigo. These and more. Kunrento Kyufu. If your disability still allows you to work with rehabilitation, basically you're still able to take care of yourself and eventually live by yourself despite your disabilities, then you're under Kunrento Kyufu. The facilities or services offered under Kunrento Kyufu are further categorized into three: the Jiritsu Kunren, the Shuro Shien, and Kyoju Shien. I'm terribly sorry if I mispronounce those words. The Jiritsu Kunren or independence training, as the name itself suggests, provides rehabilitative training to persons with physical disabilities to promote. As for those persons with intellectual or mental disorders, support services are offered to improve their ability to function and live normally in the society. The services I'm talking about include visits to the nearest facilities that cater to Shogaisha or visiting the homes of these Shogaisha, providing rehabilitation services there. The Shuro Kunren or employment training, again as the name suggests, trains those PWDs who still wish to work in a company by making sure that they are equipped with the needed ability and knowledge to work wherever they want to work. The assistance or the training provided by Shuro Kunren doesn't stop when the PWD gets a job. No, it makes sure that the PWD will continue to receive welfare support while working. The Kyoju Shien or residence support admits a Shogaisha to a support facility for the disabled, or in Japanese, Shogaisha Shien Shisetsu. There, to reside with other PWDs in a setting much like that of a group home. As you can see, since Kunrento Kyufu gravitates more toward the training and rehabilitation side, the most prominent service providers under this benefit are not Kaigo Fukushishi or certified care workers, but the Gengo Chokakushi, the Sagyo Ryoho-shi, and the Rigaku Ryoho-shi, or in English, the speech, occupational, and physical, the rapists, respectively. Kaigo Kyufu. If your disability requires you to live a life with continuous long-term care, then you're under Kaigo Kyufu. Basically, if you're under this benefit, you will always need the services of a care worker. The facilities or services offered under Kaigo Kyufu are also categorized into three: the Homon, the Nichu Katsudo, and the Shisetsu. Homon in this context means home visit, visiting the homes of the PWDs and ransacking the shit out of them. Visiting the homes of the PWDs and providing caregiving services within those homes. The services provided under Homon may include but are not limited to the Sandai Kaigo, house chores, assistance during hospital visits and admissions, accompanying and making sure the PWD is safe and can control their actions and behaviors while outside. Nichu Katsudo or daytime activities can either temporarily admit a PWD to a caregiving facility as a short-stay resident and there receive caregiving services, or admit a PWD into a medical facility, for example a hospital, and there receive both caregiving and medical services, or involve them in creative and productive activities like handicrafts and baking within a support institution for the disabled. As the name suggests, most services provided by Nichu Katsudo are only available during the daytime. After that, the PWDs return to their home and rest, and goes back to the facility the next day, so on and so forth. Shisetsu, or facility, is somewhat the same with Nichu Katsudo in terms of the services they provide. However, the services provided by Shisetsu, or by a facility, are provided throughout the night, in effect, rendering rehabilitation and employment assistance as well as caregiving services for 24 hours. The benefits under Kunrento Kyufu focuses more on the rehabilitation side of care, which promotes self-reliance plus employment training. As such, PWDs under Kunrento Kyufu are either ambulatory, in a wheelchair, or a crutch. More often than not, these are physically disabled individuals. On the other hand, the PWDs under Kaigo Kyufu are more on the intellectual and mental side of Shogai. More often than not, these are the severe ones. The difference between Kaigo and Shogai Sabisu, the nursing insurance service focuses on the elderly or the koreisha, while the disability welfare service focuses on the disabled individuals or Shogaisha. The nursing insurance system bases its services on the degree of dementia and physical independence of an elderly. The disability welfare services bases its services on the severity of the disorder or illnesses of a PWD. Furthermore, while in a nursing home, the elderly often have cases of Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and of course dementia, in a support facility for the disabled, you will often see cases of panic attacks where they will suddenly scream, run frantically, and in worst case scenarios, even hurt themselves and the people surrounding them. And that includes you, the caregiver. There are also, in rare, very rare instances, cases of suicides. These are extremely rare but still ever present. The chances are high in facilities for the disabled. In a nursing home, the elderly, well, just waiting for their time. You would care to ensure that their remaining time in this world would be a safe and pleasant one. Some persons with disabilities, however, especially the younger ones, still have aspirations, dreams. As such, your care would be in the support and encouragement side of care. However, of course, you still have to perform Sandai Kaigo and other basic caregiving stuff even in a support facility for the disabled, not just in a nursing home. Is it more difficult? Now, the difficulty of working in whatever facility you're working at right now or you're planning to work at is ultimately subjective. That is, it may be difficult for me, but not for you. Experience-wise, I'm not really qualified to say which facility is more difficult. But I do believe that I was asked about this because some of us might be a little bit apprehensive about working in a facility that rarely accepts foreign care workers. Perhaps it's because there's little to no information about Japanese support facilities for the disabled available for us foreigners. Or perhaps the title caregiver immediately gives us an image of caring for old people, not caring for young, mentally retarded persons. Nevertheless, the reality is there are still foreign care workers, Filipinos or otherwise, that are currently working in a facility for the disabled. If you're one of those persons that are about to work in such facilities, don't fret too much. Just like most of us here, you'll be trained well, and along the way, you will get accustomed to your workplace and master how to properly approach or take care of a 15-year-old quadriplegic girl with tubes for feeding and urination who often screams and cries out of nowhere. Perhaps, if you get the hang of it and gain enough experience points, you might want to start a social platform to share your experience with us, with me. Don't get me wrong, you definitely have to prepare for it as much as you can. This video here was made to help you prepare, to give you some ideas of what to expect. But don't stress yourself too much about it. Wala pa kayo kadiri sa Japan, stress na ka. Unsa na kayo kung nakadiri, di ba? Remember, what flows, flows, and what crashes, crashes. Let it go. So that's it. That's a short summary about the Disability Welfare Service, or in Japanese, Shogai Fukushi Sabisu. If you like the presentation of this video, please leave a like, share this video with a friend, and of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.